He joins us like he does every single week, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to discuss. All City NFL analyst, NFL Network, Brian Baldinger. Baldy, it's been tough the last couple of days. You can coax me on a rebuild timeline effort, maybe even some moral victories once in a while. What I watched on Sunday, that was a step back for this franchise against the Washington Commanders. What did you see?
Well, I mean, I saw a beatdown. Honestly, like outside of Garrett Williams' interception to kind of keep it close there early on. I mean, they Washington did whatever they wanted to do. And what's surprising was really the game plan. Like, I mean, I understand that Jaden Daniels is an elite athlete and he can run and he has run. But rushing him with three players and not blitzing and not pressuring him, not taking any chances and just letting him make, all these guys that honestly, like Noah Brown, Zacchaeus, McNichols, like these guys, I mean, they've been on a ton of rosters in this NFL for a reason, and they all showed up like they're some kind of, major playmakers, and everybody looked good. I mean, not forget about Brian Robinson. He's a good back, but I mean, otherwise, I was really disappointed defensively. Maybe they're just running out of bodies up front, with all the injuries that they've had, and this is where they're at with LJ Collier and, what they have up there right now. But that was I didn't see that defensive performance coming.
Was it the most surprising to you? Because we thought at least, the defense was going to have its moments and struggle just based on personnel or lack thereof. But we do view this Cardinals offense as a strength. And for them to come out and not perform against this Washington defense, I think had a lot of people asking what's going on.
I agree. And that's where they had to make their bones, because I've been saying it last year. Washington gave up the most touchdown passes in the NFL. They gave up 39 touchdown passes. Well, in the first 3 games this year, they gave up 9. Like, they were on pace to give up 50. And everybody was beating them over the top. Now, I know Marvin got the first one in the opening drive, but other than that, they didn't get anything down the field on these guys. And they made them look like those corners and safeties are serviceable. And, like, that you shouldn't be going 3 and out, and like they did, when Washington was piling up points and, they couldn't get off the field. Like, to go 3 and out against that team, to me, is inexcusable. I mean, they had to be better offensively. They ran the ball just fine, but the passing game did not take advantage of a secondary, I think, that is one of the poorer in the NFL.
I keep banging the drum, Baldy. Like, I believe in Jonathan Gannon as a head coach, and Nick Rawls, highly thought of coming out of Philadelphia. Yeah, I got 21 game sample size. This team cannot stop the run. And they've had 2 off seasons to correct it, whether it be free agency or the draft. Like, what do you see when you watch the tape? Because Bo and I are watching in studio, and lanes are just wide open. It's not like effort plays from the backs. It's like, hey, you can have the corner anytime you want. Here's 5 to 7 yards. Like, is it scheme? What would you make of it? Or is it personnel?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is personnel right now. And, some is scheme for sure. But, I mean, Jeremy McNichols is on his 9th team. He was drafted in 2017. He's been out of this league twice, not even in the league. All right. He scored 1 touchdown in his career, and he gets 2 on Sunday. Like, Jeremy McNichols shouldn't be running 26 yards for a touchdown. I mean, there's no way that kid. I mean, look, I give him credit for persevering, but and still being around. But, you go from Austin Eckler to Jeremy McNichols, and you give up 2 touchdowns like that. Like, that's got to. I mean, you got to take a long, hard look at what they're doing, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, the whole thing. Like, that just can't happen, because there's a reason why he's been out of the league a number of times and hasn't had carries. And, like, Brian Robinson's a good back, but even that, like, he's not. That's frustrating to watch, and it starts with personnel. It always does. I mean, you can scheme certain things, but it does start and begin with personnel.
Yeah, McNichols looking like prime Adrian Peterson is that's pretty sobering, the fact that he's on his 9th team and he's looking like that against, some of your top players. Budda Baker involved in that play, Jalen Thompson involved in that play. You thought maybe they could get him to the turf. They didn't. We look at the struggles of this defensive line. Justin Jones out for the season. Darius Robinson, Baldy, we find out his practice window probably not opening this week, but they'll get Kareem Tunga, who's a big wide load, true nose. Is there a way to somehow get back on track on the fly in week 5 against a physical rushing attack like San Francisco?
Well, if they thought they had a hard time stopping Washington's rushing, I mean, Jordan Mason right now, I mean, they're making people in San Francisco forget all about Christian McCaffrey. He's on pace for 1,800 yards. If he gets 20 carries, he gets 100 plus, guaranteed. And he's a finisher. Like, you watch this guy now. Like, yes, they're very good. Dominic Pooney is a rookie guard playing great. Trent's back. You give that guy any kind of a runway right now, he's punishing defenders. And he's more than a serviceable receiver in the screen game. I mean, their whole game is built on their rushing attack. They run basically 5 plays. I could draw them up in 10 minutes for you. They run them from a variety of formations and motions, but it's basically 5 plays. And if I'm Nick Rails, I'm Jonathan Gannon this week, I'm like putting those 5 plays up, and I'm saying, this is what's coming at you. All right, you're getting a wind back, you're getting inside zone, you're getting outside stretch, you're getting power. I mean, this is what they run. And this kid is really good at it. And it starts with stopping out because the quarterback is special. And I don't care what anybody says. Last week, Kyle got, he got Kittle back and he got Debo back. And Ayuk began to look like Ayuk a little bit. They got those guys involved really early to make sure that they knew they were going to be a part of it. This is a challenge. Like, Washington's good because Daniels is really accurate. But this is a much better offense than what they saw last week.
Baldy, at what point do you look at what's called a rebuild with this organization or any organization? They did a lot of good last year outside of not winning many games. They had a lot of effort on display. Yeah. They played almost 500 football when Kyler Murray came back. And yet here they are, a loss away from being 1-4 for the, I think, third consecutive year. Like, at what point do you begin to weigh progress versus expectations, and knowing at the end of the day, like, you can say anything you want publicly. We can talk about the maturation process of rookies, but the point of this is to win football games. The Cardinals don't do enough of that.
No, they don't. And look, it's on, they all feel it. I mean, Jonathan, Monty, like the front office all the way down, you feel it. They've been drafting, at the top of the draft. So you get Marvin, you get Paris. All right. Connor's got legs left. You give Kyler a big fat contract. I mean, you've got pieces there. They should be much better offensively than what they have shown. They just have to be better. I mean, if the draft means anything, if you're building this thing the right way, either that or the quarterback isn't the right guy, and you have to make that decision, because the quarterback on the other side made Kyler look like he was the rookie and Jaden was the 5-year veteran. That's what it looked like. And so that rookie isn't missing passes. He's not missing throws. He's not missing third downs. You could say, okay, coordinator Cliff is doing a good job. He is, but they should be much more. I thought they were competitive. You could look at, what they did in some of the other games. Obviously, Detroit shut them out in the second half. We know they're a good team, but to get that game at home like that last week and to play like that one was really disappointing. And that's a step back, as you're describing and as you're asking me here. Like, that's a hard gut punch for an organization to say, yeah, we're making progress when that happens, because Washington just ripped everything apart. Yeah. From the front office to the coaching staff. They brought in a ton of it's a brand new team with the rookie quarterback, and they took them apart.
Yeah, and the guy that you paid to go away. You pulled the plug on Cliff, and he comes in. He looks like a kingmaker with Jaden Daniels and the way he performed. I mean, it's got to be the most disheartening loss by far under Gannon and crew.
I agree.
Let's stick with this offense a little bit. Like, the numbers don't look great. I mean, or they don't look bad, right? And it's because of the performance in the first quarter. I mean, their opening drives, they're 4 for 4 as far as opening drive touchdowns. But then after that, especially the connection between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. seems to go away. Are you noticing anything? I mean, they say that the defenses are doing a good job, but at some point, do you have to force the issue with your playmaker?
Well, I think you have to, like they do a lot of players, I think you've got to, move him around and put him in positions where he's going to be, the number one guy. He's going to be the target. It's going to be the first look. You move them around more than what they are. Maybe you can create some of that. But that being said, like, he's just one guy. Like, if you want to double Marvin, and they're not always doing that, but if you want to double him, you've got to be able to. I know Trey McBride's out. That hurts. But Michael Wilson has to step up. I mean, they need a second and third guy option. And right now they look a little thin in those departments right now.
We'll get you out of here on this, Baldy. If the Cardinals expect to get an upset this weekend in Santa Clara, what do they need to do? Like, as cliche as that sounds, like on both sides of the ball, what's the recipe for success for this team to score a win?
Well, you saw Garrett Williams take one away. Like, look, Brock Purdy is a hell of a player, but he threw one in the end zone to George Kittle for a touchdown the other day. It could have just been easy an interception. Like, he'll make throws like that. He'll put the ball up in the air. And now he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He's really skilled. But there's going to be a chance for 2. And so if you get your hands on him, you get close. If you come down with 2 and you shorten their possessions, that's a start. I think, look, Connor ran good last week. Trey Benson ran the ball well last week. They had some good runs. Like, this is a defensive line that is not – they had a good game last week against the Patriots. But they're far – they lost Javon Hargrave. Armstead's not there. You got to go study the roster. Ukawanu, you got to study the roster to find out who some of these guys are. Like, you've got to take the fight to this team. Like, Fred Warner's an all-world guy. He went out last week. They're vulnerable against the run if you execute. And that'd be a good start if they could run the ball really effectively. If Kyler was a part of the run game, and then you took the ball away twice, where you make this a fourth quarter game, like, that would be my game plan right now to put them in a fight against San Francisco.
Where are you this weekend, Baldy?
I'm going to be in Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cincinnati. I'm going to see the King, and see if he keeps rolling. But I tell you, Joe Burrow's got all his guys in there now. Like, he doesn't miss many. This I don't know where you guys are on this betting line stuff or anything like that, but I would look at that over real hard in this game because I think Cincinnati is going to put up a lot of points. They just can't stop anybody right now.
With the ambassador of violence, you said Roquan Smith. Are you expecting a big game from the linebacker?
Yeah, I gave him the title last week, man. He lit a few guys up. They're coming around. They just got up to a slow start, but they're starting to heat up defensively right now.
Well, looking forward to that. Always looking forward to your breakdowns, whether it's with PHLY, our guy Cuz, or over at DMVR. Yeah. He's the All-City analyst, of course, NFL Network as well. Baldy, let's catch up next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it now.
See you, Baldy.
We all silly like the mayor.